Okay, B'siyata Dishmaya, we are continuing on our series in Neshama Neshima, this Jewish Breathwork series. B'siyat Hashem, we're very happy to bring this to you from Shara Yichud, which is an amazing place here in Tzfat, that we're trying to bring together to bring more consciousness of this kind of teachings to the world, Jewish breathwork, Jewish meditation, proper prayer, proper Torah that can bring healing and refuah and strength to the whole entire world in these hard times. So I appreciate if you get this message out and share it. We are running a campaign to raise money to hold on to this building and to keep on being able to put out these Torahs and to work on translating deeper Hebrew texts that are not available to the masses in English. So if you're interested in donating and being part of this project, please be in touch. Please comment below and we'll get in touch with you and reach out in any way possible. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube. We have a course right now running on a Nas.io platform. We'll have the link below. Elul Empowerment course to pick yourself up, to push harder, to really get into a new mode to start the year right. B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to continue our series on this breathing that we're talking about, and we're up to the fourth little piece, and it's called Atzalat HaNefesh, saving of the soul. And he says, if this is the case of everything that we said, that breath work is the beginning, how the world started, and so important, it's a facet of life that we cannot even, it's the most important part of life, it's the most needed thing, just breathing, more than food, more than water. If that's the case, if it's so easy just to, by way of breathing consciously, to release ourselves from prisons and from mental constraints and physical constraints and sicknesses that we're going through, why hasn't this not been made worldwide known by all of the different education boards and systems and all of the self-help books, from also even from the religious side? Why are the Rabbanim, why are the Tzaddikim not talking about this so much? We all need oxygen so much. Why is this not so found? So he says we can find a few different reasons for this idea. First things first, Mishum haklal hayadua shederech eretz kadma laTorah. First things first, derech eretz comes before the Torah. We're taught by the rabbis, the way of the world comes before the Torah. Meaning you have to be a good person and then you start learning Torah. Not that you don't need to learn Torah, you have to learn Torah. But your goal, before you start getting deeper and deeper in all these deep, crazy ideas, first things first, be a human being. Take care of your body, be respectful, be kind, be a member of society. And that comes before Torah. Meaning the things that have to deal with basic life lessons, walking, table manners, not getting angry, being a kind person, none of those things are mentioned in the Torah. Right? How to sleep, how to eat, how to breathe. The Torah doesn't need to get into the details on these things because they're supposed to be the way of human beings across the board. They're meant to be understood and so to say as a given and known and taught from generation to generation, which is the aspect of Torah Imecha, the Torah of your mother, things that you get growing up in your house. But it must be that the previous generation didn't really fulfill their obligations and their jobs so well, or that they also were a little bit detached from this tradition. Another reason is, like Chazal had a prophecy, the rabbis, the sages had a prophecy, that in the time where the galut, where the exile of the Jewish people would intensify, Atidah Torah shetishdakach miYisrael, in the future the Torah will be forgotten from the nation of Israel, God forbid. Kol Torah kula, is it all of the whole entire Torah? No, just a part of it. What is it? Mainly the hidden part. And how is this hidden part hidden or lost from the people of Israel? How is it forgotten? Because we were moved around so much and we went through so many different afflictions and so much hard time during this long galut, this long exile. And different influences, foreign influences, and different things that affected Judaism in a negative way, like rationalism, pulchan teva, serving nature and making nature so much of a big thing, zibuach le'elil hamada, altering and giving sacrifices to the false idol, the false god of science. Because of all of these foreign influences and these different things that we've been through physically and mentally, we have gotten blurry-eyed and we've forgotten that inside the Torah, inside the meanings of the words, are much more depth that do deal with these things. So you see, but you also don't see. You have a Torah, but you don't get the depths of the Torah. You don't get the secrets that are hidden inside it. And even when the secret is laid out in front of your face, you're in mode of forgetfulness, and you're in mode of darkness. You read it as if it's some kind of dry legend that has no intention, no goal. And on a technical, historical side, the things that are forgotten sometimes are the most important things. Right? These are the different Jewish meditations that we've had, different types of Jewish meditations that are paths in dveikut, in attachment to God, in an inner way, the inner intention of every single commandment of the Torah, all of the 613 commandments, what was really trying to be given over to us by way of those acts and by way of those thoughts. Different approaches and different methods that were well known amongst our forefathers and their forefathers, that they would use them and illuminate with them the whole entire world. Having intention while you're inhaling air, focus, godly singing, permutations of letters, looking really deep inside different chapters of Kabbalah, that all of those, they came with different breathing works, different ways to breathe, that with them they would get to high levels, and level after level, until they really got to a level of Ruach HaKodesh, divine providence, and even to prophecy. And with all of that, because of that same tragic happening where the rabbis opened their mouths and they said that God forbid in the future the Torah will be forgotten, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai rose up and said with all of his strength, Chas v'shalom, God forbid, lo tishtakach, it will not be forgotten from the people of Israel. And he explains this and proves it in length in his book, the book of the Zohar, that by way of that book, the Zohar, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says in the Zohar, promises that by way of this book of the Zohar, we will come out of the galut, out of the exile into Geula. The book is filled, the Zohar HaKadosh is filled with so many different mystical ideas that we don't even have enough ink to write about them. And with all that said, there's a lot of different fissures and cracks that are surprising, that they've broken through time after time in the walls of our tradition. And by way of them, there was this shine, this spark, le'ever reshut harabim, that you could now see the public domain, you could see the ways of the world. So some of these cracks are getting out, some of this light is getting out, but there's still cracks that you can see deep inside how we also have it. It goes both ways. On one hand, we have foreign influences that are coming in, and we're seeing a different world that is not how we're meant to be going. With the other side, there's cracks that are revealing inwardly that we have all of this as well. Far away from the masses of the people, this whisper of the Kabbalah and the tradition of the secrets has made its path. It's so to say this underground trail, railroad, this underground tunnel of information, of a tradition that's made its way by way of codes throughout all of the generations, and it still exists. It's clear to us with the Zohar and with all of the different Jewish traditions and texts that we have, that the masters of Kabbalah for sure knew very well how to breathe and how to use that in order to ascend much higher. Let's bring a historic example. One example of this, a proof of this, and it comes from Kabbalah Nevu'it, prophetic Kabbalah. And from there, it's clarified to us without any shadow of a doubt the authenticity, the complete authenticity, and the ways of spiritual development that we have from Judaism. The traditions that we have in our people, in our nation, the nation of Am Yisrael, that our forefathers used and our sages used, they are not a mimic, and they are not a copy or a changing on the basis of works of chakrot and all these different hiparna and the different types of ruchot and spirits. It's none of that. We're not copying anything that you find in the East. Rather, they are complete, specific systems that are built off of the 10 sfirot, the 10 luminaries that we have, the ways that Hashem rules the world, as it was passed down unto us since the writing of Sefer Yetzirah that came from the time of our forefathers, that was written by Avraham Avinu, Abraham, our forefather. From then, the writings of Rabbi Avraham Abulafia, Yochichu b'shefa shel informatziot, are filled with an abundance of information that is very precise and very technical, way too technical. What we don't see, that we see from that, it leaves us no shadow of a doubt, not even one little hesitation, according to where they come from, what nation they came from. Like the Jewish people who go to the finest detail in halacha, in the Torah, and we look at every single letter and what the letters that are inside the letters that make up the letters, what makes up the word, what is the gematria. Like we can look in every single thing in finer detail, so too our meditative practices, our breathing practices are too precise to come from any nation. These texts have passed through the Middle Ages, and they came out to light not too long ago in a beautiful way. It can be achieved by everybody. The Zohar is printed, it's in every single synagogue. So too, the writings of Rabbi Abulafia and different tzaddikim now in our last times are reaching the hands of researchers and different chachamim, sages from the religious world, from the non-religious world, and they're figuring out these crazy techniques and these unique practices that the Jewish people have had for thousands of years. The most known book out of all of them is what's called Meditation in Kabbalah from Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan, Zecher Tzadik Kadosh Livracha. With that, we're going to finish off for today. Just going to show that we're now going to get into a stage in the book where he's going to be showing to us how these practices are not mimics of what we see in the East and what we see in the West. Rather, this is mamash from our house, the Beit Avotenu, the house of our forefathers from Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. We've had this the whole entire time, including our sages after the destruction of the temple, during the time of the temple, and even now in the modern era in the last 1,000 years. And now these things are coming to light, and it's our obligation to go deeper into them. I bless everybody with a beautiful journey on this Breathwork series that we're doing, and may it expand every facet of your life to bring Hashem more into it, more consciousness, more connection, more dveikut, more pleasure in your avodat Hashem, a smile on your face, a good feeling in your heart, a head filled with knowledge of Hashem, a heart filled with nullification to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and actions that mimic exactly what His will is for us to fulfill in this world. Amen. Ken Yiratzon.